26 to, get a roll call, please.
Mr. Baranowski.
Present.
Mrs. Carlson.
Present.
Mrs. DiPaolo. Here. Mr. Godikson.
Present.
Mr. Hartline.
Present.
Mrs. Krieger.
Here.
Dr. McGuire.
Here.
Mr. Martin.
Here.
And Mr. Sadowski.
Here.
9 members present.
We all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
Any announcements? I have none. Any board members have announcements? All right. Presentations, Mr. Greenwood, you are up.
First of all, thank you all for coming in tonight. I appreciate it. It's the extra board meeting. I feel like we were just talking, like we've been together for a long time right now. But thank you. I have a quick presentation. It's sort of a review of what we looked at last Tuesday, looking at the preliminary budget projections and what a preliminary budget is. And I think the last bullet point that the budget is referred to as preliminary because it's not final. It's not the final budget. It's an interim legally required step to comply with Act 1. And that's what we're here to do tonight. We talked about this, what the preliminary budget is not. It's not the final budget, obviously. It's not a commitment one way or the other. And it's not any approval one way or the other. We had shared this earlier, back in the beginning of January, looking at where we would be with zero increase, where we'd be with 3.5, which is the Act 1, and where we would be relative, where we'd be with an Act 1 plus additional numbers, right? The preliminary budget is $154,118,000 with expenses of $161,181,000 for a deficit of just over $7 million. We're here tonight to meet the deadline to adopt a preliminary budget. Once that's done, I will run home and we will file the preliminary budget and get that online for PDE and just the remaining stops. And that's all I have for you tonight.
Thank you, Mr.
Any questions?
Thank you, very well done. Well done. All right. Nobody has any questions? Anybody? All right. Community comments. I don't blame you.
You sure?
It's all you.
3 minutes is yours.
All right. Mr. Sadowski.
All right. On to approval of the agenda. Be it resolved that the Centennial School District Board of School Directors 3.1 approves the February 17th, 2026 board agenda as per the attached. Are there any corrections that need to be made that are allowed by PA law?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Passes 9-0. On to new business. Be it resolved that the Centennial School District Board of School Directors 4.1 adopts the 2026-2027 proposed preliminary general fund budget in the amount of $161,181,895 in expenditures and $154,118,049 in revenue, based on a tax increase of 3.5%.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Passes 9-0.
Just to clarify for anybody watching at home, I know this is popular, that 3.5% tax increase, that does not mean you are getting a 3.5% tax increase. Take a deep breath, in and out. That does not mean you are getting that. All right. Board discussion?
Just one quick item, I hate to do this, I want to ask the superintendent, where do we stand? You sent a memo out at the end of last week regarding potential student protests who haven't worked out well at Pennsbury, Upper Perkiomen, and other places. Where do we stand with that, please?
Sure. So what I can share is that William Tennant High School administration has been actively working with student leadership and is going to be issuing a communication out. We are going to allow and give students a forum to express their First Amendment rights, which they have a right to do. And we're going to do that in a controlled environment. It's voluntary, and it does allow for students to express themselves within a set of parameters, and we believe that we can do that in a very calm, civic-minded way. Obviously, if students leave class, they're responsible for what they miss. They're going to have to miss. And I know that there's variance of thought around that, but I believe, and we believe, that it's wise to work with students, to give them a forum to express themselves, to not squelch their First Amendment rights, and to do so in a productive way, and then talk about other ways that they can engage their civic voice as well.
If I might, students have First Amendment rights, obviously. They have the right to express them. They don't necessarily, in my opinion, have the right to do that on school property owned by taxpayers of these three communities. This is a controversial issue. It's an area which I believe they're going to look at of law enforcement. What is the parameters if then other students who wish to protest in favor of law enforcement or other issues regarding the Middle East, LBGT, voter rights, all these other voter ID, all these other issues that we have out there where there's differences of opinion on both sides of that particular issue. By allowing one side to proceed and endorse it, doesn't seem to me that that would be the sentiment of the vast majority of the people who, taxpayers who actually own the school. And I don't know why we are permitting this. If they want to go protest, that's their absolute right to do. It's First Amendment. I actually think that's a good idea. There's protests at Doylestown every week. Go to Doylestown and protest. If you want to protest on Street Road, by all means, go protest on Street Road. I don't know why we're giving class time with no consequence to promote this, what I view as a somewhat political issue, and anti-law enforcement, as ICE, which I guess is what they're talking about, is a law enforcement agency. I just don't think that's, and I don't know why we're doing that. It's a slippery slope. And the next group that wants to have a protest, I don't know how you're going to possibly turn it down if you permit this to occur. I just don't think it's a particularly good idea to have endorsed this. That's my own opinion. Probably no, I don't know if anybody else agrees or don't agree. I just don't think that's an appropriate thing to do with taxpayer buildings who own it. If I own my business and my employees want to come protest to me, they have a right to protest. They can go protest. That's their First Amendment right. Not on a building that someone else owns. That's not something that's guaranteed. I just don't think that's appropriate for a school issue on either side. I don't care if it's pro-ICE or anti-ICE. This happens to be anti-ICE, I think. It hasn't worked out well in the other school districts. I've been reading about what happened at Pennsbury. They had to have the building shut down because there was other people who objected to it. Hasn't worked out well in Upper Perkiomen. Hasn't worked out well in Quakertown. I don't know how it's going to work out well here, and I don't think we should. No is a great word. I think no is something we ought to say. Go protest by all means. You're right. Do it. Don't do it on school property.
No, and I appreciate your opinion, and I respect your thoughts and what you shared. It's definitely an issue that takes tremendous judgment and thought. However, I am very confident in our students and the way in which administration has worked with them. It's delicate, and I truly respect what you shared. I understand what you said, and understand, that there are a lot of issues that we need to think about and take into consideration. I do. It's something that I'm very proud of the way building administration has handled it and the manner in which they've interacted with students. And I have complete faith in our student body that we'll be able to manage this in a very productive way.
How are we addressing other issues that may arise, of which there are several, unfortunately, in our country these days that are very controversial? People on both sides, virtually half on one, half on the other. What's your policy regarding approval of protests? If somebody says, I want to have students come out, they love something else. How's that going to work? Who makes that decision? This is a good one, that's a bad one?
Well, I think you handle those Mr. Martin, on a case-by-case basis. I have, in my career, experienced a number of these, and there are always ways to manage and mitigate those situations. But I think, we handle things on a case-by-case basis and really look at the totality of it. This is definitely an issue that touches some of our families and our students in our community, and I want to be sympathetic, but I understand your point, and I think it's something that if what you are describing would begin to emerge with a frequency that is obviously beyond what would be typical, then that's a different conversation, and we start to think about that and what that looks like from a disruption standpoint. But there is case law, there is precedent out there, and I feel confident in our plan and our ability. But I understand what you're saying, and I truly respect what you're saying. And
These families and folks who are in this country legally, they should have absolutely nothing to be concerned about or worry about. And if they're not here legally, then that's technically, that's a violation of law. But I'm not getting into that debate on a school board meeting. But that's
No,
there's
I'm
other
gonna focus-
contentious issues
You just
that are
almost had
coming.
the quickest school board meeting ever, Charlie.
It comes with an ICE T-shirt on it says, "I support ICE." They're going to be allowed to wear that?
There is freedom of speech law and material disruption in the environment in a lot of Supreme Court cases, and as long as it does not create a material disruption to the environment, yes, they are. And again, I'm not going to get into anything political. I'm going to base our decisions on supporting kids.
Mr. Hartline?
So any kids who want to protest, just come to you, they'll get a protest. Okay.
That's,
Well-
now, Mr. Martin, that's not what I said.
No, he's just honoring our students' First Amendment right. Mrs. DiPaolo?
Thanks. Mr. Martin, thank you for bringing this up, because on my end, I heard about it also in my house. And I would say, I don't think administration is endorsing it. I urge my daughter, who told me she was going to be doing this, to talk immediately to the principals, specifically Dr. Caracappa. I think administration is just providing a safe, structured outlet for the kids, like you're saying, to express their First Amendment rights. I think the kids are going to do it either way, and I think what the school's response is that they're trying to make sure it's done safely. I don't know if anyone remembers during COVID, the kids protested something like masks or not wearing masks, and Dr. Heinrich's response was she escorted the kids, walked with them for their protest, and went back into the building. I think the whole thing took 15 minutes. So there was very little disruption, I think, to the school day. And it was handled, and it was finished all before, I think, probably anybody realized what was happening. So I'm confident that this will be handled in the same manner.
Better than Pennsbury then, better than Upper Perkins.
I have heard-
Better than Quakertown.
I will tell you, because I also looked, North Penn, maybe 2 weeks ago, had the same thing, and I work in the North Penn School District. The administrators also walked with the children, not as protesting, but to make sure that they were safe. And then Abington School District, I think, did it as well last week, and it was okay. But I'm sure you said you have some examples where it didn't go so well. But I'm confident in our school district that they will, I'm sure our administrators will make sure it goes smoothly. So thank you.
And I think one of the indicators as well, to build on what you just shared, Mrs. DiPaolo, is that the kids came to administration. And what I've learned about our district is we have exceptional students. I will tell you, the Centennial kids are incredibly thoughtful, and nobody wants to bring our district into a negative light. And I'm very proud of how they have approached it and how administration has managed that conversation. And again, it's voluntary, and I firmly believe that it will be handled with respect, and it will be a non-issue.
Mr. Hartline?
Let's get back to legality and what our current school policy and procedures allow for this type of event. Do we have something under our policies and procedures regarding students walking out or students doing a protest during school hours? Do we have a policy in place on how that is to be handled? And if we do, has that policy been vetted through PSBA and the attorneys to make sure that we are, in fact, in compliance with federal law? Because if we're doing an exception to policy That's something the board needs to be able to do. That's not necessarily a unilateral decision.
I think it's a constitutional right. I think it,
Well, so, like
assemble?
Mr. Martin said, if they wear an anti-ice shirt, there's certain speech that is considered protected and not. You go back to the 1967 case of the gentleman wearing the profanity on his jacket versus being able to yell fire in a crowded theater, and some is protected, some is not protected, and it depends on the inflammatory nature of it. But if we as a district have a policy in place for the safety and security of the students, saying that they are not allowed to walk out of class for their own safety because it creates an environment in which we cannot control or guarantee the safety of the students, then that is a paramount overriding factor. It is not this, whether or not they can or cannot protest. They have the right to protest, certainly, but they also have to conform to certain requirements, and that's where if we have an existing policy in place that addresses this already, and my guess is if we do have one in place, that it has been vetted by PSBA, and that we have had some pretty high-paid attorneys that have looked at this already. And if it is a policy, then there would have to be an exception to policy. And that would be something that, okay, they can put it off a week, go out the following Friday, and because we have a school board meeting on Tuesday, hopefully, if the weather prevails.
Thank you.
So they are my questions surrounding that.
Dr. McGuire?
I think that you had identified what I was thinking, because I'm looking at the policy open for adoption that was on our agenda from last week upon adoption, policy 122.1, and it talks about, but this, I believe, as you're talking, student-initiated groups of secondary students to meet without discrimination or on school district premises during non-instructional time for the purpose of conducting a meeting, I guess, or a protest, regardless of the religious, political, philosophical, et cetera. So it talks about meetings of non-curriculum student groups must be voluntary, of course we know that, and it's to be on non-instructional time. So if this is part of our policy, and we're just adopting or reviewing it, so policy 122.1 indicates to me what I'm seeing, that it needs to be, whatever's going to happen, freedom of speech, et cetera, needs to be done on non-instructional time. Also, then my second question is, was this student initiated or a faculty or other staff member initiated?
It's student initiated.
Okay, that answers that.
student.
Okay, thank you. So with blank, we do have, I think this is just, rewritten this policy, so we're actually not following policy for this protest during school time when it,
So that would be non-school time?
correct?
Now, whether or not lunch period would be considered instructional time or not, that would be up to administration to decide. That's not. So I don't know that this falls. I think that policy is more designed around groups that wish to form and then to be able to participate or to be able to have meetings on school property. So, example, Future Business Leaders of America. Or if you have a group that is a dog lovers versus cat lovers or something, where they could form and meet on school property after non-instructional time. I think that policy is geared more towards that. That's my opinion. I don't, we might need a legal bound on that one, but that's the way I would lean towards that.
Okay. Any other board members would like discussion?
Can I just say one more thing? Sorry.
Absolutely, Mrs. DePaula.
I just want to say, overall, I'm just impressed that our kids are thinking about these types of things and that they feel like they need to take action. So I do give them credit as young people for.
But half of the students don't know what ICE stands for, ICE.
My
They couldn't tell you what it was.
I can tell you, my daughter and her group of friends, I will tell you, they do talk about it a lot.
About to be educated.
I do want to end on a happy note when everybody's done.
Thank you.
Ultimately, I think because it is student organized, I'm glad that we're at least taking it seriously and finding ways to make sure it happens in an orderly way, to make sure the kids are safe.
Yep.
The point of peaceful protest is disruption. It is causing trouble, good trouble, as John Lewis would say, to call attention to something you don't like.
Keeping in mind that
Which
our
is-
actions have consequences.
Absolutely. If there will be consequences, those should be clearly understood by the students as well.
Yep.
Right? It's civil disobedience. There's going to be discomfort in this, and that's kind of the point as well. So I think it's going to happen. I'm glad that we're having the discussion because it's an important one to have.
Will there be two groups, one pro, one anti?
From what I heard
Do we
from my
know?
students, not having talked to any kids other than my two, there are kids who plan to join the protest, quote, in favor of ICE. I don't know if there is any organization there. I don't know anything beyond what I've heard, but,
It doesn't stop, they all have the First Amendment right. So regardless of
And
which
I-
side they're on, they all have that right.
As Mr. Martin
Absolutely, but
said,
I'm just
there
looking
are
for
issues that I think
Peaceful.
there are opposing viewpoints on so many things that we talk about all the time. I don't think we get to the point of walkouts and protests until something rises to the level of an existential threat or something that the students feel the need to get to this level of organization about. And there are enough students in the district who believe that ICE's potential presence in our district and the threat that may pose to some families of our students is worth calling attention to. I mean, and going back to COVID, I think if we look back to, the past 6 years now, that's the other big, gigantic, existential thing in their lives that they would have felt that strongly about, that would have impacted so much of their daily lives, their family members, how they go to school, if they're in the building, if they're not. So I think that it's higher level than the argument that comes up sometimes over the day of silence. You know what I mean? It's just a different tier of protest.
Okay, Mr. Hartline?
Mrs. Krager had something prior to me.
Go ahead. We welcome it.
Microphone.
So I found the Executive Council extremely enlightening, and it made me realize what a heterogeneous environment Centennial School District is. With that said, and where we're trying to get to in terms of balancing the budget, can we by any chance get some metrics around student count and what the average cost is for special ed, English as a second language, and economically disadvantaged students? Because we're looking at a number of $22,000 on average for Centennial, but I would say that the numbers for these three groups are substantially higher, and I think that transparency is important if we're going to approve a tax increase, which hopefully we're not going to have to, but if we're going to have to, we're going to need to understand that these are outliers in that $22,000 per student, and it would be very helpful to understand how great that differential is.
Yes, we can provide all that information.
See Mr. Greenwood writing. Taking
And I
it
don't know
all
whether
in.
I don't know whether there are other groups and other programs, but to me, these three
They're the
stood
big
out.
three.
These
They're the
three
big
stood out, and I think we should understand that what it really comes down to is the average for the average student is probably a lot lower than $22,000 because it's being outweighed by these three groups, and I think we should get to understand what that is.
Thank you, Mrs. Krieger. Mr. Hartline?
All right, on some good news. Congratulations to our Panther girls basketball team on their victory over Council Rock. They are moving on, and I think their next game is Friday?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
At Garnet Valley.
There we go. And this is the first time that they beat Council Rock in a long time, 7 years. So
Good time to break that snap.
Congratulations.
they are moving on. They had a great Valentine's Day, it looks like, or day before, and congratulations to them.
Perfect. All right, any other communications?
Black and white night starts next week? Black and white?
Does.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Academic night, pool night, and gym night.
Go black.
Yes, I wanted to find out where we can buy shirts. Can someone email us or tell us?
Somebody who has children in the high school.
We'll get
Anybody?
you some shirts. We'll get you some
All right.
shirts.
All right. Any other communications? All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, have a good evening.
I would love to